So hello guys and welcome to this new tutorial in which we're gonna learn how to scrape a web page for data and coordinates and then send emails to all the list of mails that we have got. So the reason I'm doing this is that I actually needed this myself. I had to send like a dozen of emails to a list of thousands of emails, and it was actually exhausting to do it one by one and to copy paste the email from the web page to the email and all that hustle. So I thought maybe it would be a better idea to do it using a Python script. So if you have any other ideas, please don't hesitate to tell me in the comments and let's dive into it.
So the first thing we would like to do in our script is to import our request library from Python. So we will need our URL. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna use this website. It's like the annuary for the EHPAD, which are home care for elderly people in France. So as you can see in this website, here we have all the home care establishments in France. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna automatically scrape the data and crawl the data from this website. As you can see here, we have the contact, and if we click, we'll find out that this is actually an email address. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scrape this data, put it in a table, or in a pandas table, for example, then loop over it and send emails using Python to all these contact addresses instead of sending each one by hand, which one manually, which can be sometimes exhausting, especially if you would like to send emails to a lot of addresses and it's kind of the same email, so it's better to automate this process. So as you can see, we have all these emails here and we would like to send all of them an email using Python. So for our URL, we're gonna to find our URL. So what you would think is that you can just use the URL here, but as you can see, if we use this URL as our URL, so this one is for like this department, not all the ones in France, so it's just for the Odyssey department, which is not what we exactly want. So we're gonna see how to guess what's the one for all our departments, which means for the whole country. So if we try to send, so I'm gonna open a Python shell here and I'm gonna import my requests here. Requests. So let's try to install it. Install requests. Okay, so it did install the package. Well, that error was cool, because if you don't have it, now you know what to do to get it. So let's import that library. Okay, so it's working now. Amazing. I should have thought about telling you this in the beginning, but yeah. So what we need to do now is get our page. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send a GET request to this URL over here. So if you get this error, what you will need to do is set verify as false. And now it's gonna work. As you can see, the response is 200, which means it worked. So what we're gonna do is to see what's the content of the page, we're gonna type page.content. And if you check inside the content of this page, we're not gonna find actually any email in this page. The reason why is that this part here, this part of the page here is rendered into the page using a JSON file. It's sent to the page using JSON from some API. So what we'll need to do to guess what's that JSON file is to open our editor here. I don't know how do they call it, to be honest. If someone knows, please tell me in the in the comments. I guess it's like developer settings or something like that, but I don't know. Anyways, let's refresh the page by typing Control F5. If you do Control F5, it's gonna refresh all the page with the files over here, with all the files. So what we'll need to do is to actually check for GS files. And what we will need to do is to go over these files till we find which one got our email. Okay, so let's see. This seems fair enough. It's called content. Nope. Not what we want. Ah, we found it. Bingo. It's this one actually. I don't know, guys, if you have any better technique than this one. Don't really, please don't hesitate to tell me. But it's this one actually. So as you can see here, it's called, it has API in it. So what we're gonna do, if we try to social engineer this link, we'll find out that we got search here, and it's search for a department, and the department is Odusen. So we'll try to remove this from the link. So perfect. That means here we got a list of all the EHPAD, all the home cares in France. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back here to our script. I'm just gonna continue like my work here on the Python shell, and you can type it actually here and make it like a script that you can run, which we're gonna do obviously later. So our new link is actually should be this one. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get our page. So requests.get from the URL. If it's working, no, it's not working. So what do? We do verify equals false. Perfect. And now, oh, it's clear because we're on the shell. Anyways, so now our page, let's see what we have. A response, a 200 response. Perfect. That means it's working. So our page now, or let's call it data or something. Data. So we're gonna render this JSON by typing page.json. Okay, so let's see the data now. Oh, perfect. So here you go. All the home cares in France, all the data related to the home cares in France. Amazing. Okay. So what we need to do is to analyze this data. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna do something like this, and to analyze the data to see what's the structure over here. So what we care about is the email, the name, maybe the city or the phone or something like that. So to organize it, I'm just gonna use pandas because it's so handy. So I'm gonna import pandas as PD. Oh, no module named pandas. No. Anyways, I wanted to split, but I ended up making a new terminal, but it's fine. I'm just gonna install panda, pip install pandas, because usually just install it in a virtual environment. Okay, so it's installing it. So we'll go back to our Python, and I will type in the previous commands that we typed before. So let's check in now. Okay, so we were here. Amazing. So as you can see, this is the structure of the file of the data. So you have an ID for every home care. You have a title. It's the name of the home care, of the care home, and we have the coordinates. And this is what we care about here. Here is the address, postcode, the city, and the email. Amazing. So this is what we really need. So okay, so let's import pandas as PD. Brilliant. Now let's just get our EHPAD. Let's call it care home data frame. So we're gonna create our data frame, our pandas data frame. Columns we would like to get. So from this data, I will need the name, the email, the phone, and the C. So you're gonna learn some French as well in this tutorial. So the care home now data frame, this is our care home data frame. It's still empty for now. So let's check how much is the length of the data. Okay, so let's loop over this data and fill in our data frame. So for index care home and enumerate care home data, care home data frame. So what we're gonna do is get the coordinates, which are, as you can see here, we have this coordinate and it's a dictionary. So the coordinates is this one, a dictionary called, the key is called coordinates. Okay, and we're gonna fill now our pandas data frame. So the data frame is called, oh, actually I did a mistake here. The data frame is empty. So I'm gonna repeat. So here it's actually, how did I call it? Actually, I called it data from data, and the coordinates are correct. And then what we'd like to do is now we would like to fill our care on data frame, and we're gonna use lock index. No, this is the index. So we're gonna go into this row. So what this is doing is going to the row with the index, and we're gonna get it and we're gonna fill it with the data that we want. So the title, the coordinates, we're gonna get the email, contact, so this one, because it's a dictionary, it's a dictionary, this one is, this object here is a dictionary. We're gonna get the coordinates. Phone, for example, you can get whatever data you want. So this is just what I'm gonna take. And the C, up, keyword error, title. So what is the error here? Blah, 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 blah. Title, it was correct. Let's go back. Oh yeah, it's just care home without the data frame, because we want to get this care. Yeah, okay, perfect. Now it's gonna fill in our data frame. So the reason I'm doing that is just because it's more handy to use pandas than to use a JSON file. That's what I think. I don't know, what do you think, guys? So now it's iterating over our data, our JSON file, and filling in our pandas data frame. Okay, amazing. So now we have our care home data frame, as you can see here. Amazing. So the data now is cleaner, it's more clear to see and to witness and to behold. So now that we have our emails cleaned and we're clean, we're good to go. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna use some tool libraries. So these libraries are the SMTP lib, the SSL. So for those who don't know, the SMTP is the internet protocol used to send emails. So whenever you send an email to someone, you're actually using the SMTP protocol. It's like the simple mail transport or transfer or something like this protocol. So you don't need to really worry about this. All you need to remember is that it's what the internet used to send emails. So this is a Python library that allows us to do so. So we're gonna, to try it that it's working, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a sender email and a receiver email. So we're gonna use this email, for example, as our sender email, and I'm gonna use it as well, the receiver email. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna write our message. So the message will have a subject. I don't know, this is a cool Python tutorial. And now what's gonna be in this message is something like, Do we say madam or madame? Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Aren't you even subscribed? What are you waiting for? We do amazing tutorials here. Kind regards, Caecilius. Perfect. And let's, in case you have like French slurs or something like that, you would like to use to encode it and UTF-8, so it's gonna work. So in case you have letters like this one or this one in your message, so don't forget to encode it, so it's actually gonna work. Okay, so now we're gonna choose the port to send the message. So the port we're gonna use is the SSL port. It's 465, and we're gonna give it our password. Now we will need a context object. And now we're gonna finally use our SMTP library.smtp SSL, and here we're gonna specify that we're gonna be using Gmail. We're gonna specify the port, which we already did, and we're gonna give it the context, and it's gonna be as server. And now before we continue, I will need to tell you something before, because you will need, so what we will need is to actually go to your Gmail account. So go to your Gmail and search for less secure app access, and configure it on, so that actually you can send emails through Python script. So just configure it on. Then, well, where do you find this place? Let me tell you. So you go to security on your account settings. Okay, so after you have done that, come back and we'll finish our amazing tutorial. So now what you need to do is to actually just send the email now. .login. We're gonna specify the email. And now we're gonna tell it to send, after it logged in, we're gonna ask it to send the email. We're gonna give it the sender email, the receiver email, and the message. Oh, let's see, is it doing the work? Yeah. So perfect, it seems like it did actually. Okay, so here you go. It did actually send us the email. So it's from me to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in this script here and put it inside a GitHub repository for you guys. So if you want to use it. So now what you would like to do if you want to send these emails, an email to your list. So to the list of email, what did we call it? Care home data frame. So if you want to send an email, the same email or a customized email to all these email addresses, is to use a for loop here. So what you would like to do is to loop over the data frame and to iterate over these rows. I don't want it to actually over all the rows because there are 10,000 over there, so I'm just gonna do ahead. So it's gonna iterate over the 5 first rows. It's just like to show you what's gonna happen, and print a row. So now we're just gonna print it. So what you're gonna do is inside this for loop, you're gonna put this code over here, and instead of receiver email, you can use row email like this. So, and it's gonna send the same email to all these addresses that you have inside this data frame. So you can use this where whatever web page that you have, or if you already have your data frame with the emails, you can do the same process as well. So if you have just a plain HTML page with with emails inside, you can use Beautiful Soup or Scrapey to scrape or crawl the page and like make it into a readable format. So if you want me to make a tutorial for that, please tell me in the comments. And thank you for following up this tutorial. You're amazing, guys, and see you in the next one.